Thank you, Rachel. So we do this about once a month. We do 5 good minutes, and this morning's 5 good minutes is with Krystin Sutherland, and we're going to talk about Julotta this morning. Now, one of the things that I've learned about you, Krystin, is that public speaking is not one of your favorite things to do.
No.
While you hang out with young people, well, it will turn on, I think. Our sound guy. Yep, there you go. But one of the things that you have reminded me of is that Julotta is really important to you. And so I know that it's important to you because you're willing to come up on stage with me and talk about Julotta.
Yes.
So, big deal.
Yes.
So, Krystin, in the simplest of terms, the reality is that people, if you grew up in this church or you've been here for a long time, you know what Julotta is. But not all of us fit that category. Yes. So, in the simplest of terms,
okay.
What is Julotta?
Julotta is a traditional Swedish service. It dates back to the 1600s, and people would wake up really, really early, sometimes as early as 4 o'clock in the morning, and they would walk or ride to church on beautiful sleds, and they would come by torch or candlelight. And so Yule meaning Christmas and autumn meaning dawn. And so the service celebrates the nativity of Jesus Christ, and traditionally it was just a time of quiet prayer and reflection before the dawn would come, which would be the celebration.
I don't know why you think you don't do well up front. I think you're killing it.
It's my notes. I have notes.
All right, so that's the what. Let's talk about the why.
Okay.
And this is a personal question. Yeah. I mean, why does Julotta matter to you? Why is it such a big deal? Mm-hmm. Why are you willing to get up? Thankfully, it's not at 4 a.m., but 6:30. Why is it worth it to get up at 6:30 in the morning to come to church and experience this?
So Julotta is really special for our family. I guess there's just so many things that take our eyes off of Jesus during this season. There's social media, the perfect matching Christmas pajamas, the perfect cards, the perfect tree. And there's also that little competition with Santa Claus. I mean, every time we turn on a Christmas movie, it's about Santa Claus and rushing down Christmas morning to see what is in your stocking and what's under the tree. And so this is kind of our way of taking Christmas back to Jesus and to just remember why we're really celebrating Christmas. And so we just really enjoy the fellowship with our church family. We enjoy that quiet, reflective time in the morning. And so it's just become really special to us.
I'm throwing you a curveball because you're doing so well. That we talked about the what, we talked about the why, but when someone comes to Julotta, what could they expect? Because I also want to make sure we include food in that, because that is a big deal.
Food. So it's a quiet time of prayer. So it's not like a regular service when you come in and you're greeted and the lights are all on. You walk in and you're expected to be quiet, and you're supposed to be reflecting on Jesus and his birth. And so it's very beautiful. It's almost magical. There's ice candles that light the way. You come in and everything is just lit up beautifully with candles and lights. And it's just a time when we get to read the Christmas story. We get to read about his birth, and we get to sing hymns and worship. And then when the dawn comes and the light comes, that's when we get to fellowship and we get to have breakfast with our church family. And for some of us, our families aren't close, and you guys are like family to us, so we feel like we should celebrate Christmas together. And so that's one of our favorite things as well. And we usually come in our PJs, and it's just really special and fun, and then we're all just ready to celebrate Jesus after that.
Yeah. All right. You've done a really good job explaining that. And a couple of things that I think is important to note too is that we won't live stream that service because it is dark, and so it's really hard to do that well. But what we did last year because of COVID is we pre-recorded a Julotta service, and we will show that service at the same time. And so we're going to have these two things going at the same time. There are still, I think, a couple spaces of some needs in terms of reading scripture, and then we'll also invite those that come if they want to bring some sort of food item to add to the pile. Yeah. One of the things that I reflected on here, I've been at Hope now for a little bit more than 2 years, is the value that both Julotta and Christmas Eve have. Mm-hmm. But without intentionality, one of the things I've been observing or just kind of wrestling with is that at times I think our engagement around these two services is more about preference. I prefer this experience over that experience. Mm-hmm. But what I hope that we can communicate is a more intentional application of the Christmas weekend, where Christmas Eve is primarily about our community. We've worked really hard to craft an experience worthy of your invitation to your neighbor and to your friends and to your nieces and nephews and grandkids, whatever is applicable to you. That's the gather, that's the go. We talk about our three muscles of gather, grow, and go. That is our go. Go out, invite, and bring people in so we can share the message of Jesus. And then Julotta is a much quieter, a much earlier experience for the church to gather in the stillness of Christmas morning to grow deeper in the light of our newborn King. So we hope we can harmonize these two things together. They're both, they come together for one amazing weekend. And then we're going to invite you to come back on the 26th for Sunday morning service as well. So it's going to be a really full weekend.
Yeah.
Krystin did an amazing job. Thank you for sharing.